Well, as Ice Cube said, the Big 3 party rolls into South Beach. A critical triple-header tonight, beginning with the three-headed monsters and the enemies from American Airlines Arena. Let's take a look at tonight's full slate. In Game 2, it's a defending champion, Power, against Tri-State, followed by the Ghost Ballers and Red Hot Trilogy. Let's look at the standings. Triplets are idle. They're in first place. Enemies, a tough loss last week to Power. Three-headed monsters with 2 victories. And welcome, I'm Ed Cohen. Great to be joined by Avery Johnson, Michael Rappaport as well. What an exciting time of the summer, no doubt about it. For the enemies tonight, this essentially is a must-win, a critical night, Avery, in the playoff picture.
Absolutely, Ed. I coached in this building in 2006 in the NBA Finals. I've coached in college, and one of the things I loved about in college was March Madness. But tonight is elimination and survival Saturday night here in Miami for several teams, because if you have 4 losses, you could basically be eliminated with another loss on tonight.
Let's take a look at the men who will try and survive and advance this one. State Farm roster show: Rashard Lewis, the captain of the three-headed monsters. Rebounding force, Reggie Evans, the co-captain. Gilbert Arenas back in the enemy's lineup. He did not play last week, but Avery, Harry Jones did, and he lifted the enemies in defeat with 20 points.
Yes, he had a huge game last week. Harry Jones, 27 years old, the youngest player in Big 3 history. He should have fresh legs tonight. He's very versatile. He can switch defensively on pick and rolls. He's the one player that plays above the rim.
Welcome back to the 305 for a couple of former NBA champions with the Heat. Mario Chalmers, Rashard Lewis combined for the title in 2013. And Avery, they've combined to lift the three-headed monsters numerous times this season.
Mario Chalmers had an incredible game last week. He was an awesome floor general. But tonight, I think his defense versus Gilbert Arenas is going to be a major key. And for Rashard Lewis, his team is 0-4 when he scores fewer than 18 points. So he's got to come up big tonight to keep his team playoff hopes alive. Avery,
if only Gary Hayden could shut those guys down. The glove, the Hall of Famer in Springfield and the champion with the Heat back in 2006. Speaking of champions, the baddest bad boy of them all, Rick Mahorn, who guided Trilogy to the Big 3 title in its inaugural season. Let's revisit some of the key rules unique to the Big 3. First team to 50 wins will get to the break when one scores 25. There's no game clock. The 14-second shot clock is paramount. And the 4-point shot, we saw Joe Johnson nail one for the win last week for the triplets. And away we go here from Miami. Penultimate weekend of the regular season. Jones off the mark for the enemies to start.
Gilbert Arenas, he's got to have a huge night tonight for the enemies.
How about Chalmers? Drills the 3. So it's Arenas who doesn't just come back, but he starts with Craig Smith and Harry Jones. Three-headed monsters counter with Chalmers, Evans, and Lewis. Chalmers getting the start. Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf coming off the bench.
Yeah, smart move by Gary Payton. He's trying to just, light a fire under his team. That was a heartbreaking loss last week.
ISO Joe, as he's done to so many. 4-game winners this season. That's incredible.
Yeah, ISO Joe, who's right now the leader in the MVP race in the Big 3.
Lewis, three-pointer, it's good. What a setup out of traffic by Mario Chalmers.
And this has been a consistent theme with teams in the Big 3. If you can get off to a really good start, specifically from behind the three-point line, the court just opens up even more for you because the defense has to come out and stretch their defense and spread their, and it gives the offensive team more space.
Rashard Lewis, this is what he does best, Avery.
Yes, and once he gets that shot above his head, we've seen it week after week. It's just hard to contest that shot.
Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf will come off the bench for the three-headed monsters in this one. Enemies trying to get on the board. Give and go. Nice extra feed by the man wearing the Hibachi jersey tonight. Agent Zero, Gilbert Arenas with the assist.
When Gilbert Arenas plays, they're 3-1. They're 0-2 when he doesn't play, so his presence on the court is very valuable for the enemies.
Reggie Evans, strong take, is going to the line. Craig Smith with the foul for the enemies here in the early going. Avery, three-headed monsters were a great story. 2-0 start, mainly because of this man, Reggie Evans, a double-double machine, but they've lost 4 in a row since, and none harder to take than the heartbreak against Joe Johnson last week.
Their main Achilles heel has been putting together 2 consistent halves. They've just been a heads and tails team. They haven't been able to play consistently in both halves. Last week they had a 10-point lead and they thought they were on their way to victory, but ISO Joe had something to say about that.
Lewis had the step on Jones, reverse, calmly laid in by Rashard Lewis, and a 10-5 start for the three-headed monsters.
It's going to be important specifically for Rashard Lewis because, alluding back to last week, he didn't start in the second half. Gary Payton wasn't happy with his performance and his production on either end of the floor.
Message received. Evans, he cleared it, he drives, offensive foul. Craig Smith beating him to the block to take the charge.
Was that Craig Smith or Rick Mahorn? That looked like Rick Mahorn from the Pistons.
That was earlier Jones with the layup and then Smith with the D. Now Rick's a little bigger now. I'm sure he could still take the charge though.
You know what? You said that, Ed. I didn't say that. We saw him at breakfast this morning and had a chance to visit with him, but I don't want Rick Mahorn to think I said anything about his weight.
NBA champion with the Pistons, 1989. Chalmers wants it for 3. In and out. Lewis battling, and he is fouled hard, Rick Mahorn style, by Craig Smith, and a 2-point shot coming for Lewis. We did learn something today, though. You were talking to Rick Mahorn at breakfast. Your rookie season, 88-89, that's when Mahorn won the title with Detroit. As it turns out, his per diem was twice yours. That's what the bad boys did, apparently.
Yes, and I was an undrafted free agent out of Southern University. I wonder why he's got more per diem than I did. Because he was a bad boy.
He was. Good start for the three-headed monsters up on the enemies in Miami. College football season is right around the corner. Join our studio team as they tackle the hottest topics on Inside College Football, Monday at 7 Eastern, right here on CBS Sports Network. Well, Rashard Lewis joining the Heat during their run with the Big 3 back-to-back titles. He and Mario Chalmers combining for one in 2013. Michael Rappaport with Rashard Lewis. Michael.
One of us has unprecedented access. The other one has a championship ring. First of all, how does it feel for you to be back on the court here in Miami?
Man, it feels great. Unbelievable. The fans are still here loud like they were when I played here in Miami. Winning a championship here is something I would never forget, and this will always be home.
All right, that's the past. Let's get to the present. You guys are 3-3. You don't win, you might not make the playoffs. What are you, Rashard Lewis, NBA champion, going to do to pull out this victory today?
Do whatever it takes to win on defensive end first. Then we're going to try to make some shots tonight. But I think it comes down to the end of the game. We haven't been closing our games. We lost 4 in a row at the end of the game, and we need to close it out today.
All right, well, good luck. Have a great game. Fellas, that's what you call unprecedented access.
Michael, that's how it's done. I'm happy he didn't forget his credential. They let him in the building.
And I think if you go to his show tomorrow night, you will have unprecedented access. Did you get invited?
I'm waiting to hear back.
Okay, I got invited.
I'm on the B list.
I may have to stay in Miami one more night.
Go get him, Avery Johnson, but make sure you bring your credential. Royce White's come on for the enemies. He has been such an X factor. #1 pick in this year's Big 3 draft. So it's White, Gilbert Arenas, and Craig Smith as the enemies try to mount a comeback here down by 7.
Yeah, they've gotten off to a slow start. Primarily the defensive ability of Mario Chalmers on Arenas.
Crossover just short. Here's Arenas. He'll fire from 2, hit it from mid-range. First player besides Jones to score for the enemies.
Gilbert Arenas was in the gym early this morning getting up shots, trying to get himself going.
Chalmers thought about the 4, the drive, the step, and the finish by Mario Chalmers.
On 3-on-3, it's help side defense is significantly important, because if you allow all of our talented players here in the Big 3 to just go one-on-one, they can score on anybody.
Yes.
So where can the help come from in the support and still get back to your man if there's a driving kick situation?
Well, there's no doubt that Craig Smith drew all the attention from Nancy Lieberman and Power last week, because he's been so good this year, but was held to just 4 points last week. No Gilbert Arenas. They focused all the defensive attention on this guy.
Yeah, and it worked. He just didn't have any help offensively. And if you can't get any help offensively, then you're basically playing 3 against 2.
Abachi turns the corner. Arenas offloads. Smith. Late whistle. It's going to be a foul on Reggie Evans, and Craig Smith will get a 2-point shot for Rick Mahorn's team.
Nice ball fakes by Arenas on the drive. Defense thought he was going to maybe shoot a floater, but great short pass.
Now, Craig Smith, 6 NBA seasons at a Boston college. Last played in Israel 4 years ago. And knocks down the 2-point shot. The enemies creeping a little closer, trailing by 3. Again, enemies 3-3 record. They really need this to stay alive in the playoff hunt. Off the ball foul this time as Evans jostled with Royce White.
Yeah, and the 3 guys that the 3-headed monsters have on the floor with Evans, I know he's going to the bench. These guys have a lot of experience. They've played in a million huge games during the NBA regular season, playoffs, NBA finals. That's real experience that you just can't duplicate.
Lewis hangs, can't finish, gets it back, and Frank Robinson jarred loose.
You can feel the physicality.
Yes.
On the court. Guys are hustling, going all out.
Chalmers rips through. He's fouled going up by Royce White. So back-to-back fouls on the enemies forward. It's going to be a 3-point shot, one from beyond the arc from Mario Chalmers.
Yes, he got behind the 3-point line. Smart play.
He made one of these last week in the loss to the Triplets. Not this time. Larry Sanders in, just got the rebound. Sanders rolls, and the feed from Chalmers sets him up.
That was an on-time, on-target, precise pass. He basically led his offensive player to the basket, moved the ball away from the defense. That was a classic fundamental pass that you teach day one in basketball.
Now, Avery, last play, there was a foul call, but the officials huddled together to see if there was also goaltending. So this is big. Could be either 1 2-point shot from the line. If there was goaltending, now a chance at a 3-point play for the enemies.
Look at our coaches, Rick Mahorn and Gary Payton. They're huddling up at halftime, talking to each other. The competitive spirit of our coaches, man, is just outstanding.
What do you think? On the glass, looked like it was before the block from Sanders.
Yeah, it looked like it was on the glass. Yep, definitely. Should be an easy call.
Royce White looks like he's going to have a crack at a 3-point play with the enemies trailing here in Miami. Again, first to 25 will get us to halftime. 3-headed monsters last week were in command. And then the Triplets took over after the break. Now, right now, a 3-point edge for the 3-headed monsters. Royce White, he played in 3 NBA games after being selected in the first round by the Rockets out of Iowa State. Sanders, tough pass to handle, and Smith couldn't handle it either.
Offensive rebounds, whether it's on the free throw situation or just a basic offensive set, can gain you more possessions offensively if you can get some offensive rebounds.
Gary Payton has this look. What did I just see as they turn it over on the inbounds?
Yeah, Gary Payton was not a happy man last week. He had victory right in the palm of his hand.
I think Rick Mahorn just passed him the ball for good measure. Take that glove. White against Al Thornton. Help comes. Nice cut, Frank Robinson.
When the ball goes into the post, there are several names that teams give those type of cuts. One name is the Utah cut, because guys like John Stockton and Jeff Hornacek, when the ball was passed into Karl Malone, made those cuts very popular.
Helped to have one of the best power forwards, if not the best of all time, right?
Yeah, a guy that drew a lot of attention, and this is a Jeff Hornacek cut, because he would reject the screen from Stockton and go back door.
Jeff Hornacek, a couple of years coaching with the Suns and the Knicks. Here's Smith, freed up by Robinson. Craig Smith off the mark, and there's Al Thornton.
Al Thornton had 4 points last week in his first game, but he was very effective.
Oh, he's got 3 right here, and the three-headed Monsters extend the lead to 6. 4 NBA seasons, went to Florida State, Al Thornton.
And with the lack of production from a third scorer, that's something Gary Payton talked a lot about. You know, if Al Thornton can score in double figures this week, gives his team a better opportunity to keep their playoff hopes alive.
Well, the 3 officials here in game number 1, Dave McAndrews, Levon Zakarian, and Chad Bessick, have been very busy because this has been a physical start, Avery, between these two, as Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf is coming on for the three-headed Monsters for Mario Chalmers.
When it's survival and elimination Saturday, you can tell the desperation. You can tell the look on those guys, on the guys' eyes and their faces, and the way they're hustling and chasing loose balls out of bounds, almost running in the stands. We had a situation where Reggie Evans looked like he almost ran into Ice Cube.
Yes, that would be scary. For Reggie and for Q. Larry Sanders, the roll, too much. By the way, Pat Riley tried to trademark three-peat. As Sanders scores, I think you need to work on Elimination Saturday. It has a nice ring to it.
We just aim to please it.
There's Ice Cube with his wife Kimberly, courtside again here in Miami. Robinson denied by Sanders. The help, the block at the rim.
And what I love about this, Sanders wasn't successful, you know, with the dunk attempt, but he didn't allow a negative play to impact the next play. And on this last play, what a great block from the weak side. You can't block a shot from the weak side unless you're in a defensive stand and you have vision on man and ball.
Larry Sanders, 3rd pick in this year's Big 3 draft, goes to work against Robinson. Mahmoud blocked by White. Byers bobbles. Thornton took it away. Followed the bouncing ball out of bounds off the three-headed Monsters.
Yeah, both teams are very erratic offensively right now. Ball security, taking care of the ball, getting shots at the basket.
White against Sanders, lost it. And Larry Sanders reaching around from behind, fouls Royce White.
The recipe for success is just cutting when the ball goes into the post, as we talked about a few minutes ago. I think the enemies are standing too much.
It's 23-17, enemies trailing by 6. Yeah, with that foul, White will take a 2-point shot. Enemies in the bonus. Remember, Gilbert Arenas has got a nice breather on the bench. Could come back for the second half very fresh for the enemies.
And for the three-headed monsters, you got to play pick and roll with Sanders. I don't know if they're going to have much success just trying to post him up with his back to the basket. They got to get him on the move.
Mahmoud's going to inbound with Thornton and Sanders. White, Byers, Robinson, the three for the enemies. This for the half. Thornton, not quite yet. Frank Robinson with the board.
I think he's going to try to take Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf on the post here.
He'll take him to the line now. 2-point shot coming.
And for a team on offense, where's the best defensive matchup that you can attack? That's where you have to go, and that was smart on Robinson's part right there to try to attack Mahmoud. He has a size advantage, a strength advantage.
This shot, White the rebound. We've been on this score for a while. White throws it up, cleared and put in by Sanders to get us to the break. And the three-headed monsters, Avery, it's an 8-point lead over the enemies.
Smart play, offensive rebounds, knowing what the rules are. He didn't have to bring that ball back out.
25-17 the score. Again, the enemies must have for their playoff hopes. Let's go to Michael Rappaport.
All right, I'm down here with Gary Payton, NBA champion, Hall of Famer. He's going at it with the refs. Coach, champion, Hall of Famer. Hey, Rick, not on my watch. Not on my watch. I don't play that, man. Hey, man, I don't play that. I don't play that. I'm getting my bearings back. I'm on live television. Gary, what are you guys going to do to pull out this victory?
I hope we don't do like last week when we was up 14 and then we go to sleep. I think we just got to keep attacking and keep playing basketball. That's what we got to do. And they're playing well today, man. I mean, we just got to play through everything and just play.
You won the chip here in Miami. What does it mean for you to be back here in Miami playing ball?
It was a great thing. Pat Riley gave me an opportunity to come around and win the championship. We had a great team during that time. We had a young boy in Dwayne Wade, and it feels really good. It was feeling really good in 2006 to win a championship and to be back here and be playing right now.
Good luck in the second half, Coach.
Thank you.
Oh, Rick Mahorn pulling a Bill Lambier above the neck area of Michael Rappaport. At the break, three-headed monsters with the lead over the enemies here in Miami on CBS Sports Network.
Big 3 basketball on CBS Sports Network is sponsored by State Farm. Talk to an agent today at 800-STATE-FARM.
Here in Miami, look at Biscayne Bay. Three-headed monsters with the lead over the enemies at the break. Ed Cohen with Avery Johnson. Well, three-headed monsters getting a boost early. Made 9 shots, half their points coming in the paint in what was a physical opening half.
Yeah, the expectation for the three-headed monsters is for Rashard Lewis and Mario Chalmers to play well. But sometimes the element of surprise is where the magic is. And tonight, Larry Sanders, 8 points, 3 rebounds, a block shot. His presence on both ends of the floor has been a major plus for the three-headed monsters.
Sanders lifting them off the bench. Heat homecoming for Chalmers and Lewis. They also set the tone in starting this one.
Yes, it's the first team to 50, and when you can make three-point shots, you can get there a whole lot faster. Chalmers and Rashard Lewis, you know, they're familiar. Played in this building, had a ton of success here, won championships. The crowd is behind them. When they got introduced, boy, the crowd erupted.
They felt it. Plus 10 on the glass, Avery. 53% from the field, made 3 threes. It was a strong first half for the three-headed monsters.
Key is going to be what Coach Gary Payton talked about. Say, look, yes, we got off to a great start. I've seen our team have leads at halftime, but what are we going to do in the second half?
Pierce is on the floor to start the second. Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf without Thornton. Larry Sanders for the three-headed monsters.
Yeah. Gary Payton was pretty animated going into halftime.
Best trash talker in the league last year, as a coach no less. Craig Smith with Jones and Arenas for the enemies. The spin and the finish for Craig Smith.
It's going to be critically important for the three-headed monsters to get down there and help Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf when he's getting posted up. That's a 9-1-1 situation. He needs help immediately.
Mahmoud left his feet, sets up Thornton. Drive by Hibachi. Abdul-Rauf, 4-3 to beat the shot clock.
Barely got it off. Nice driving kick by Thornton.
Avery, largest lead for the three-headed monsters by 9. Smith, jab step, jumper, got it. Nice answer by Craig Smith.
Yeah, an interesting decision to bring Mario Chalmers and Rashard Lewis off the bench in the second half.
Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf turns the corner and scores, and the foul, the burst from the oldest guy in the league. That's how you get it done.
Nice driving kick by Thornton. Mahmoud had a chance to get his feet set. Got his shot blocked the last time on a three-point attempt. And because he made the three, the defense pushed up on him, and he had a chance to make an explosive drive to the basket.
Sanders the board, corner tray. He's got it. Mahmoud with 8 points to begin the half for the three-headed monsters.
On any level of basketball, it's all about confidence. Gets his first three blocked. Now he makes 2 threes in a row. Drives to the basket. And look at the bench. This guy's almost on the court after he made this three. But give his teammates credit. They understand who's the hot player. Let's find the hot player. And defensively, let's find the weakest defensive player to attack.
Well, for now, a lot better for Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf than last week when they lost the triplets. Let's go back in time. Avery Johnson, then Chris Jackson, a star at LSU, and a New Orleans native at Southern University. Man, you look good in the number 15 jersey.
Yeah, Mahmoud and I played against each other a lot in the summertime, getting ready for the college basketball season. Or, I went to the NBA obviously before he did, and then we were teammates in Denver for what I had a cup of coffee, and I was only on the team for about 6 weeks.
Number one, I love the New Orleans Jazz as the block shot again from Sanders. Jones misses the three. Number 2, Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf's number 35 is going to be retired this year by LSU, and that is great to see because he's one of the all-time best in Baton Rouge.
Yeah, an incredible honor for a guy who was just prolific in college.
So look at this. He wants it again, Avery. Not this time.
No, not that time. He didn't get enough legs. He wasn't quite balanced on that one.
Hibachi, Gilbert Arenas, first three. He's got 5 points tonight.
That's pretty cool. You guys went back and got one of my Southern University pictures. I was about 158 pounds in college.
Soaking wet?
Yeah, don't ask me what I weighed.
We've been waiting to unleash that photo for a long, long time. We finally got to it in week number 8. Craig Smith drains it over Larry Sanders. Smith has paced the enemies. He's got 12 points tonight. Now the question, who steps up? First, they need to stop. Abdul-Rauf. Tough shot going to his left.
I love how our guys have expanded their games. Maybe early in their professional careers, like a Craig Smith, he was just a rebounder, defensive player. But now he's expanded his range. And Mahmoud,
he's got 11. He's got 3 threes. Three-headed monsters, Avery, by 12.
When you're feeling it, you're feeling it. And right now, the basket is as wide as the ocean here in Miami.
Here's the score. Second half score. Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf with 13. The enemies with 9. Avery Johnson, how has the veteran done it?
Superb shooter. His teammates have found him when he's been open. And then he mixed in a drive. So he's just got really good balance on his shot. He's mixing it up. Just playing with an extremely amount of confidence right now.
Michael Rappaport, take it away.
All right, I'm with Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf. You had 13 points in the second half. Can you feel yourself heating up?
Yeah, definitely. We're playing. We're moving without the ball. We're looking for each other. I'm in a rhythm right now, so it feels good.
When you get in a rhythm like that, can you feel it? Like, does your body change? Does the basket look big? How does it feel? I mean, you've had scoring in your DNA since you started playing basketball. What is that like?
Actually, yeah, you can most of the time, but right now, it felt like about 3 of them was off.
We're not there yet. All right, well, good luck in the second half, and it's such a pleasure to watch you out there.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf, what a pleasure to watch this guy play.
Well, it really has been, Michael Rappaport. Thanks. And Michael mentioned the DNA. Remember, twice, Avery, in his NBA career, Mahmoud averaged over 19 per game. He could really score it at the time, and Sanders can really block it in this one.
Yeah, he's been a superb shooter since he was in high school. This kid, you know, he's out of Mississippi, was always a prolific scorer. He's in phenomenal shape.
Oh, the strip. Oh, late whistle and a foul going for the steal against Perry Jones.
And as well as Mahmoud is playing, let's give Gary Payton, his coach, credit, because he decided to start him in the second half. He got hot. He left him in the game. Right now, you know, he's going to continue to roll with the hot man. He subbed Chalmers and Lewis back in. So, again, it's all about coaching and having a feel for your team.
Royce White extending offensive, shoving Chalmers to the deck. Everything going right on both ends for the three-headed monsters.
That was an offensive, textbook offensive foul. Nice position by Chalmers.
Lewis against Arenas, posting him up. They got him on the switch, and he scores.
And in that situation, when a player like Chalmers beat you to the spot, it's better to just spin and score the ball. You get to what we call a point of no return.
And that's just what it might be now for the enemies. They need this one. White denied, but he's going to the line for a two-point shot.
And Royce White did exactly what we were talking about in the charge situation. He had the same situation in the post. He felt the defense trying to take away his jump hook to the middle, and he spent baseline.
Avery, this week, the Big 3 announced its mental health policy, highlighted by 7 key principles: support for players and staff. Really, the message is you guys are not alone. And Royce White, part of a PSA that the Big 3 put out this week, he's been so open about the issues and the struggles he's had with mental illness. And it was a great week for the league and how open they were and how Royce White was able to act as a spokesperson once again.
Yeah, I applaud the league for his mental health policy. It's a very comprehensive policy, has been well thought out, and it's going to be executed.
Let's see what White can do now. To Smith. Seals can't finish, but he's going to the line for a two-point shot. The enemies right now in a near must-win game, down 40-28. Reggie Evans going to come back on. Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf, who scored the first 13 points of the half of the three-headed monsters, gets a much-deserved breather.
Yeah, and a nice applause from a lot of our fans who just appreciate his brilliance tonight. The way he's shooting the basketball. It's been very impressive.
Party tonight in Gulfport, Mississippi. The pride and joy. Chalmers, Lewis, and Evans.
Chalmers and Lewis should have a ton of energy right now, especially starting in the second half on the bench.
Chalmers slipped, kept the ball in his grasp. He threw it off of Smith, out of bounds. Nifty from Mario Chalmers, a South Beach special.
High basketball IQ play, and that shows this is a guy that hasn't played in the gym his whole life. That's a playground move. That's the move when you're playing on the playground and it's 9-9, and if you don't get the 10 and win that game, you may have to wait an hour before you play again.
Craig Smith, if there were posters in the Big 3, he might go on one there as Evans misses the jumper. Another chance. Oh, the take from Reggie Evans against Craig Smith.
Boy, one more step to the right by Craig Smith. That could have been a charge if he'd have gotten there a little bit sooner.
Remember, first of 50 wins.
Yeah, and I think the enemies would like for Reggie Evans to shoot jump shots the entire night, but once he puts the ball on the floor, he's hard to guard.
Turns, missed it against Smith. Frank Robinson, the lefty, for White. To the basket, couldn't finish it. Now, he struggled at the line tonight. He's getting a 2-point shot, but the enemy is down 12. Timeout from Gary Payton and the three-headed Monsters. Going to try and close it out here tonight. They couldn't do it last week, Avery, against the triplets. Joe Johnson and company, too much down the stretch.
Yeah, Joe Johnson, ISO Joe, who's leading the league in the MVP conversation.
How about what this guy did last week? Will Bynum scored 33, a Big 3 record. Trilogy, a comeback, their fourth straight win. But the biggest moment, the one we just alluded to, Joe Johnson step back, 4-point shot for the victory.
And after that shot, I probably got 40 text messages because a lot of my friends and family, they thought you and I were on the court. We were so excited after that shot.
I had to hold you back.
You had to hold me back, man.
Here are the standings. Triplets off. They'll be at the Big 3 ball out next week in Dallas. Power chance to tie them for first in our second game. And we talked about the enemies. 500 right now. Really hard to make the playoffs if you fall below 500.
Yeah, and a lot of parity in the middle. So teams are scrambling to get one of those top 4 seeds. We got a couple of teams that I think are in the driver's seat.
Oh, White, another missed free throw. It's been a real Achilles heel tonight for the enemies. Their kryptonite. Chalmers tripped up and fouled, going to the rim by White.
It's going to be very important for the three-headed Monsters to finish strong because, as you know, in the Big 3, it's never really over until it's over. You can have a 10-point or 12-point deficit right now, and the enemies can go on a run and get back in this game.
Lewis, fall away. Tip Evans, it's good with a ton of English. You bet you can count it for Reggie Evans.
That's like a Dennis Rodman rebound, you know, who led the NBA in rebounding for years. He would go underneath the basket and work his way and tip offensive rebounds in.
Ensuing steals and the bucket for the enemies. But right now, three-headed Monsters are 6 points from victory here in Miami.
Reggie Evans understands that his physicality right now could be, beneficial for his team. He's got to do the dirty work. He's got to get offensive rebounds, set screens.
Or take a foul like that and some frustration from Frank Robinson.
Yeah, and that could be a borderline flagrant foul if he would have extended his elbow a little bit more. Reggie Evans got to be really smart here.
Three-pointer. As we showed some of the replay, Mario Chalmers drills it.
He got introduced first tonight, and the fans gave him a standing ovation.
White. Now, will they say basket interference? They're waving it off. By the way, the Chalmers shot was for 4, and it's point game for the three-headed Monsters. Let's take a look. Wow, square in the spot.
Yeah, there was no hesitation there.
Chalmers Avery with 9 points. He's got a 3 and now a 4.
2008 NCAA champion with Kansas. Had a big shot, made a big shot to take the game in the overtime to help his team win that national championship. If he doesn't make that 3 to get the game in the overtime, they were going to lose that game. So his number 15 jersey is retired in Kansas. What an honor when your jersey's retired, or whether it's in college or it's the NBA.
Are you talking from experience, number 6?
Yes, and number 15 is retired at Southern University.
2 for 2. All right, point game for the three-headed monsters. Lewis, a 2-point shot. This is for the win here in Miami. And this could spell doom for the enemies and their playoff hopes. Lewis, the former Miami Heat, ends it for the three-headed monsters. A thorough performance, 50-32.
We talked about if this could be elimination Saturday night or survival Saturday night, and three-headed monsters with Rashard Lewis game-winning free throw, they survived.
Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf was the big story, 13 points in the second half. Michael Rappaport with the winners and Mario Chalmers.
All right, I'm down here with NBA champion Mario Chalmers. First of all, that team that you played on with the Heat, very iconic team, Hall of Famers. Tell me something that I don't know about that team that made it so special.
Just the hard work we put in every day. You know, Miami kids get the Hollywood title sometimes so glamorous out here, but, you know, we went to work every day. That's the one thing that made us good and made us who we was the work we put in.
All right, now you guys kept yourselves alive, because if you didn't win this game, you were going to be done, okay? But you're not done. What are you guys going to do to try to really make it into the playoffs?
We're going to take at least 4 days off, let everybody recover, and then get ready for Dallas. We got to go out there with the same mindset we had today and keep our best lineup out there.
All right, well, congratulations on the win. Congratulations on being back on the court in Miami.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Fellas, that's what you call unprecedented access. Only I have it, you don't.
Michael, always make sure you wear your credential. Chalmers with 9, a 10-2 run to close for the three-headed monsters. A win over the enemies. We're off and running in Miami. 2 games to go for the Big 3 here on CBS Sports Network.